Happy Friday. Happy Friday. If you do not live in Ukraine or near the Ukraine border, hopefully you're having a wonderful weekend. If you're in Ukraine, feel sorry for you. Hopefully you win. Even though I could understand why Russia would do this, doesn't change the fact that he did do this. And I just hope everything works out in the end. Hopefully it does. But I kind of want to know why this happened. I don't know if NewYorkPost.com would be the best source of information, but it's definitely one source. I'm just going to take everything with a grain of salt because, regardless if it's coming from Russia or coming from the West, West, you're not going to know the whole story. And I think this story has layers to it like an onion. I think it even goes back a couple of centuries. Back when Russia was just Rush. Back when Ukraine was part of Rush, not Russia. I think this even predates the USSR. That's just my opinion. I have certain thoughts. I haven't really gotten all the information together to post in the video, but I'm going to post this particular one. Why is Russia invading Ukraine? Explains the roots of a long simmering conflict. I mean, it's been a really long conflict for whatever reason after World War II. We pretty much went hard against Russia for whatever reason. Russia President Vladimir Putin declared war in Ukraine Wednesday night, launching airstrikes and plunging Europe into a nightmare not seen since the darkest day of World War II. I don't think so. Maybe at the start of World War II. But Russian invasion of Ukraine with a massive escalation of a conflict has been simmering since Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea. Words. At issue are two separate states, Donetsk and Luhansk. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If not, they have been in open, if mute, conflict with Kyiv since 2014, as well as larger question about Russia's fear and influence and Ukraine's place in Greater Europe. And here's pretty much a map showing where everything is coming in. I guess they're having not air, but maritime invasion from the sea. Ukraine is the second largest country area between Europe and second largest country by area in Europe after Russia, which does create a pretty good buffer state, to be honest. Was briefly independent in the early 20th century before becoming part of the USSR in 1922. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, Ukrainians once again declared their independence in 1991. As part of the negotiation with the newly minted post-Soviet Russia government, Ukraine returned Soviet-era nuclear weapons to Russia and allowed Russia to keep its Black Sea Fleet station in Crimea under lease agreement. That makes a whole lot more sense why it went after Crimea, because of the fleet station. Ukraine, in a post-Soviet era, then continued to develop its economic and diplomatic relationship with the Western Europe. In 2008, NATO hinted at a future membership for Ukraine and its fellow former Soviet republic, Georgia. Russia also invaded Georgia soon after. He wants a buffer state. But the conflict, as we know, began in 2013 when then Ukraine President Viktor Yanukovych backed out of an expected economic deal with the European Union, opting to instead strike a deal with Russia. The results protest force Yanukovych from power in 2014. I mean, these are pretty impressive pictures, kind of terrifying. Well, that was not so much terrifying, but This one's definitely terrifying. And so is this one right here. This actually reminds me of an explosion I saw from a distance in Iraq when I was there. It was a satellite camp in Iraq. All I heard was this vibration and this kaboom and a big mushroom cloud off towards the distance. It was a vehicle IED that attacked one of our satellite camps. And I think a couple of people died in that attack. The survivors mentioned that there was just birds dropping from the sky from the shockwave. So pretty terrifying stuff. Um, in response to Russia, President Vladimir Putin offered support to Russian-speaking separatists in those two states, which are part of the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine. I'm just skipping the names because I don't want to butcher them. Putin simultaneously declared Crimea, which had been made part of the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic during the Soviet era, to be part of Russia, and invaded the peninsula in late February of March 2014. By the way, Obama was president. Putin annexation of the Crimea Peninsula, located along the northern coast of the Black Sea, was widely denounced by the international community and still recognized the territory as being part of Ukraine. And also, Russia was part of NATO and got kicked out shortly after, which is pretty shocking because NATO was actually formed to go after Russia's aggression after World War II. And I'm not 100% sure why we went after Russia after World War II. We just did. The fighting, which continued sporadically despite the 2015 ceasefire agreement, has killed an estimate of 14,000 people. In the whole scheme of things, that's really not a whole lot. But if you're a family member of those people, it definitely means a whole lot. Fast forward to 2022, and Putin formally recognized the two rebel-held enclaves from the two cities as independent states this week and ordered Russia troops to enter Donbas in the so-called peacekeeping capability. An order came after a televised speech in which Putin declared that Ukraine was not a standalone nation, but rather an integrated part of Russia created by the USSR. Which goes back to one of my theories I have, is that Putin really wants to get the USSR back. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but he's definitely making moves for either him or one of their presidents down the road to take such actions. Why do we have to be so generous and give these republics the right to leave? Russian leader asked at one point, making it clear to reference that breaking up the Soviet Union in 1991. Madness, and the strong man added, as Thursday, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has expanded well beyond the contested rebel-held region, with Russia's missile raining on at least 16 Ukrainian cities and attack helicopters seen over the capital of Kyiv with post wires. And that's pretty much it. Doesn't really explain much of why they're doing it, other than the fact that they can and they are doing it. I'm pretty sure if America actually took it seriously, and I think that's one thing. I mean, I'm not trying to be all complete pro Trump and all, but that's one thing that Trump did, is go over there and address some of his concerns. Now that made him get the label that Trump is a Russia asset. Now, dealing with a nuclear power as Russia is better to make friendly deals and kind of back down their demands. And I think Biden just did not do that. It was just leave Ukraine alone or else. And Biden said, or else what? And he evaded. I don't really think that's a weakness on Biden. I think it was a missed opportunity to understand where Putin was coming from to address some of the security issues he had. It's the failure of the European leaders also failed to address some of the security concerns that Russia had to iron this out. This was definitely a failure of leadership for sure. I don't not ready to say that America's weak and this is why Putin attacked, because you also have the European leaders in a position of power to persuade Russia not to do this. This is a multi international affair. Not one party is can prevent Russia from invading Ukraine. So my question is, where is the European Union on this? And it could be just a simple fact that it's my point of view, since I'm of America and I'm not really actively going towards the European leaders, and I'm probably a little bit more biased towards American politics. But that's all I have for this Friday. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts are. What is your theory of why Russia is invading Ukraine? Are they trying to get back the USSR and get the band back together? Is it something else? Is it over security concerns Putin has? Is it over the aggression of NATO and the United States towards Russia? And this is just his way of saying, listen to me. What is your theories behind this? With that being said, smash the like and subscribe button on any and all platforms, or just the platform you're currently watching. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful, safe weekend. And let's hope Ukraine comes out of this. And hopefully, there's still a country. I mean, there's not much I can do from my office at my house, but hopefully a long-lasting peace comes out of this, and all countries involved can prosper.